Hello guys, Toon here back again. This week we've got a review of the NES Mini. This came out on Friday. This is basically a little mini NES console with 30 games. This is the actual box for it, which is really cool, as you can see. On the back it says 30 games there. On the back is some of the examples of some of the games and everything that actually runs on. There's not much in the box. Basically, you just get a machine, a little booklet, and some cables. In the box comes a HDMI cable and a micro USB cable, and the little console itself, which I'll show you now. And here's the NES Mini. As you can see, it is tiny. Fits in the palm of your hand, no problems at all. I say the flap doesn't come up or anything like that, but it's got a little power button, very much like the NES, and there's a little push button for a reset. On the back, you've got your HDMI and your micro USB. Pretty much pretty much you can plug it into any USB power socket, anything on your telly wall. It doesn't actually come with a power supply, which is pretty cheap to be honest, but as long as you've got a USB socket space somewhere, you can power off that, or you'll have to get one of those USB plugs or something, which is a little bit of a shame. It doesn't come with power. Like that. The one other little thing is you got your joypads, which are pretty much perfect replicas of the NES pads. They're not sure if they're a little bit more clicky, but they feel pretty nice. They look pretty cool in the back. Only problem is that the actual cable itself, I don't know if I can show you this really, is literally that long, which is pretty much about 2.5 foot roughly. So the cables are absolutely tiny. I can just about reach it there. That's the one drawback of this machine, but apart from that, you know, with the cables and the machine, it is a pretty cool piece of kit. It's got some real nice games on it. So what we'll do then, we'll cut it here and we'll go across and I'll show you the machine running. Well, hello guys, Toon here back again. This week the NES Mini got released on Friday, and I was lucky enough to have mine on Thursday, but I've had it for a few days now and been playing around with it, and thought I'd do a little review on the machine. This is the main menu on it of all the games list. I don't know whether you've seen the Nintendo Mini. If you have a look at that, it's a really small version of the NES. It doesn't take cartridges, but it's got 30 games built into it. You've got like the original NES joypads to plug into it. Those joypads can also be used on the Wii U for virtual console games. Plugs in through HDMI, so you got a really nice 720p HDMI output on it, and it's powered off USB. A few things. First thing is in the box, there's something special in the box. It doesn't actually come with a power supply, which is a little bit of a shame. It comes with just basically a USB cable, but I think they pretty much assumed a lot of people would have some sort of phone charger, PC, USB in your telly or something to charge it off. So it's not a great problem, but it would have been nice if there was actually a power supply actually in the box. The other thing, the joypads are really nice. They feel like the NES pads. I'm not sure if the buttons are a little bit more clicky, but apparently they feel like pretty much new NES pads, but the cable length on them is ridiculous. It's basically the same length as the original Famicom joypads, and you're sitting like literally 2.5 foot away from the NES, so there's no plugging it in on your entertainment system and sitting way back on it, unless you get some joypad extenders, which they are out in the US at the moment. Nyko is making them, but they haven't come out here. So your best option for this, I would say, is buy yourself a long HDMI cable and a long micro USB cable, which they're pretty cheap to pick up, to be honest. So probably only cost you about 5-6 quid for two of them, say 3 meter, 4 meter, 5 meter, wherever you want, and you can run it. But that's the other thing. Say the joypads are ridiculously small, which is a bit of an oversight, to be honest. And all the reviews I've seen of it so far complain about the same thing. So anyway, enough of that. That's the hardware over. Right, so when you turn this thing on, you get a couple of options. If you go into display, You can have original CRT filter, which basically makes the picture look really crap, and then put scan lines over the top. So it's almost like using an NES on an aerial lead. It looks pretty awful, but we'll run through them. We'll select it at the moment. You also got original 4.3, which is a slightly widened version, I think, or maybe about smack on version of what it should look like. And you've got a pixel perfect view, which pretty much changes all the pixels to exact squares, which looks quite nice. But the NES never had exact square pixels. They were slightly wider than they are higher. So it's not really exactly like an NES. The 4.3 is your best bet, to be honest. Like, in the options, then you've just got the demo, which you've just seen running. Then you've got the auto shutdown. I'm not sure how long that takes, and you've got screen burn-in reduction, which pretty much just darkens the screen like a screensaver. You can choose different languages, but we only want English. Legal notices is your general gumph, basically, and manuals. You click in manuals. They're not actually on the machine, which is a little bit of a shame. But you can scan that with your phone, and it'll take you to the website with the manuals. I say, as for the games, there's your games list. You flick through them. So we'll run through the games. You can see what's actually on the machine. So we've got, as like I said, there's 30 games on here. So we've got the original Metroid. You've got Zelda 2. You've got Kid Icarus, Mario 2, Bobble, Technobowl, Ghosts and Goblins, Castlevania, Gradius, Ninja Gaiden, Star Tropics, which I've never really played, Mega Man 2, PAC-MAN, Contra Super C, the original Mario Brothers. Well, not the original, but it's the NES Mario Brothers, the first one. Mario Brothers 3, Excitebike, Kirby's Venture, Punch-Out! Featuring Mr. Dream, the original Legend of Zelda, Double Dragon 2, Balloon Fight, Simon's Quest, which is Castlevania 2, Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr., Dr. Mario, Final Fantasy, Galaga, Ice Climber, and the original Mario Brothers, which I don't particularly like. But I gotta be honest, it's a really nice selection of games. To be honest, there's a few that are not that good. Like I don't like the original Mario Brothers. Ghosts and Goblins is terrible on the NES, to be honest. But I think they're probably the worst two games on here. I think it's just flicking from. But anyway, what you can do is when you select the game, you can sort actually in different sort of modes. Like you can sort by 2-player, recently played, by times played, by release date, by publisher, by title. So that's pretty cool. It's got some nice little options for sorting your games. So we'll put it back to by title. This menu below now is real-time saves. You can start the game and real-time save it. So let's chuck Bobble on. As you can see, the menus are really nice and quick on this machine, and games load really fast. There's Bobble. This is the CRT filter, which, to be honest, is awful. There's nostalgia, I suppose, but I don't really know why you would use it. Especially when you've got full HDMI with really nice pixels. So what you do then, if you press a button on the machine, the reset button, you can go out, down, and you press A by here, and that'll do a save state for that game. So if you click on that game by there now, it'll restart it from the beginning. But if you click start in there, it'll do the save state. So what we'll do is we'll go to screen display, and we put it in the pixel perfect mode, and we'll go back to the game. As you can see, the picture's a hell of a lot better now. There's the pixel perfect mode, which is quite nice, to be honest. I do quite like it. Like I said, NES pixels were never perfectly squared anyway. But this mode does actually run quite nice. I say this is 60 hertz as well, so it's not 50 hertz, which is much better. It's not slow 50 hertz parallel, which is great. So that's the pixel perfect mode. So we'll go back to what I've actually been playing it on. So we'll go back up to here and we'll change it to 4.3. We'll go back to that. Oh, by the way, that save file, I had to overwrite the save file. I didn't get it at first. You've got to hold the A button down for a couple of seconds and it overwrites that save file. Ah, right, and you pull down and it locks it. I didn't know that. So it locks our save file so it can't actually be deleted. So basically press start. And now this is the 4.3 mode, which is what I've been playing it in. This is more like what it would be like on a normal CRT, to be honest. I think the 4.3 and the pixel perfect mode both are quite nice. Like I say, Bubble Bobble, you know, the NES version of Bubble Bobble is actually pretty good. It doesn't have the same sort of placement sometimes with the power-ups and the sweets and stuff, but and it doesn't fire super fast with the bubbles, and it does lag a little bit, but apart from that, it's pretty nice. Another thing about this game as well, controller lag. I gotta be honest, I've been looking out for lag in the controls, and I can't notice any. I've tried this up against my Famicom, running through my FrameMeister, and it literally feels the same. I can't feel any sort of controller lag on this at all. I'm quite impressed because I was hoping that would be the case. Like, I'm not sure exactly what this hardware runs off, but it is a little like Raspberry Pi shaped sort of little mobile phone type board in it. So it either runs off Linux or it's probably going to run off Android. I'm not quite sure, but Nintendo have done a pretty fantastic job of it, and the emulation is pretty much perfect. There's a few little things in the emulation I've noticed. One, the sides of the screen. On the original NES, like when you're playing on a CRT, you don't notice the overscan on the sides of the screen on each side. But on modern sort of LCDs, you do notice the overscan is there. It's like garbled graphics. Well, a lot of games on here, they've actually filled that overscan out. But an offshoot of that is, say you're playing a game like Gradius, when the enemies appear at the top of the screen, they appear sort of slightly on the screen, if you know what I mean. They don't appear from the edge and move in. They appear like, say, like a centimetre in. So basically, they've got rid of that overscan, but it can catch you out in some games. But this is the original Castlevania. The sound on this as well is pretty much perfect. I haven't noticed that much. The only difference I have noticed on my Famicom, which I think may have had the stereo mod, which is not really the stereo mod. They just pump both. They pump the mono to both speakers, and I think the sound is slightly bassier sounding on my Famicom. I think it may be slightly more tinny than maybe the Famicom, but it's not that noticeable. But you know, the actual sound and everything that's going on in the back, it sounds pretty much smack on. Like, I've tried quite a few games out with the sound, and apart from it sounds a little bit more bassier on my Famicom, they're pretty much the same. So as you can see, the HDMI on this is very nice. It's far better quality than just plugging a normal NES straight into your TV, which pretty much looks terrible these days. What happened there? I didn't actually pause it then. Strange. Yeah. So the game, you know, the games seem to play perfectly fine. They're pretty nice. So let's go back out then. So you could pull down and choose to do a save spot, but I'm not going to do that. Right, okay, let's try something. Let's try Donkey Kong. I think Nintendo's done a pretty fantastic job with this. It's quite impressive. I've tried a few of the like flashback consoles in the past, like the Mega Drive ones and the Atari ones, which are okay, but this one seems really nice quality for what it is. Nintendo definitely seems to have put a bit of love into this. Like, they haven't just paid a company just slap one together and chuck it out like. And the HDMI does look particularly very nice. I think next to my RGB model, my RGB Famicom chucked through my FrameMeister, I think it does look slightly nicer through the RGB one into the Famicom, but there's not much in it. It's very hard to tell. You've really got to look. But pretty much, I'm very impressed. I say they are going for silly money on eBay at the moment. They are proving particularly difficult to get hold of. I pre-ordered mine quite a while ago, but I was lucky to pick up another one on Friday. So I'm going to get my brother one for Christmas, but I was very lucky to pick one up. I went to scan.co.uk, and even though it says they haven't got any in stock, there's a phone number by the side of them, and if you ring the phone number, they'll sell you one. So I don't know if you want to get out there, maybe want to give Scan a ring if you are after one, but they are getting particularly hard to find. Only problem is there's a lot of rip-off people on eBay at the moment who bought them. They're trying to get 150 quid or more for them. Which is a shame, like, because it just puts, there's so many people out there who want it. Some people will be willing to pay the money for it. Anyway, that's the Donkey Kong on yet. Now we'll go through a selection of games. Alright, let's try Double Dragon. Double Dragon 2's pretty nice on you. I say this, you can play 2 players on this console. You just need another joypad, which you'll have to get hold of. It only comes with the one joypad. I'd say if you haven't played the NES in quite a few years and you loved it as a kid, I think this is a really good Christmas present for you. I think someone would love this for Christmas. I think this is going to be the hot Christmas present this year. Hopefully Nintendo will be able to chuck enough of these machines out by Christmas that everyone who wants one will be able to get hold of one. So that's Double Dragon on you. As you can see, they're pretty perfect. They're pretty good. There's only subtle differences in them. There's, if that, like, hard to tell the difference. Right, let's go through the games and see what I think of the games on you. I'd say Double Dragon 2 is a pretty cool game on the NES. It's pretty nice. Dr. Mario, I know some people like it. I would prefer Tetris on it, to be honest, than Dr. Mario, but Dr. Mario's okay. I'm not a big fan of it. Excitebike is quite good fun. I've never played Final Fantasy, even though it's a classic. Galaga, I like the arcade game. Galaga is a pretty cool game. Ghosts and Goblins is terrible. I sort of understand why they put it on there, but it's pretty awful. Gradius, the NES version is pretty good actually. You only got 2 options instead of 4 options, but it is actually a pretty nice conversion, and it's a pretty cool NES game. Ice Climber is not a bad game, nothing special, but it's okay. Kid Icarus, I have never really played through it, so hard to say on that one, but it is well liked by people. Kirby's Adventure, I played through this not long ago actually on my Famicom, and I quite enjoyed it. It's not the hardest game in the world, and it's not an amazing game, but it's good. It's good fun. Right, we got Mario Brothers. I don't like the original Mario Brothers. Mega Man 2 is a classic. It's it's the one Mega Man game I can say that I sort of put a bit of effort into. The other Mega Man games, I suppose, I didn't really bother, but I did actually have this on the NES years ago as well. And but Mega Man 2 is a classic. Metroid is supposed to be a classic, but I've never really played through it, so perhaps this is the opportunity to actually play through Metroid. Ninja Gaiden, loved by the masses, absolutely solid game and really unfair, but it is beatable, like, so it's not a bad game. Pac-Man, well, it's Pac-Man basically. Punch-Out, very much a Nintendo classic. Really cool boxing game, actually pretty good fun as well. Star Tropics is like an adventure game when you hop around on tiles, which I've never really played, so I can't say. Contra Super C, that's a really cool game. It's a pretty nice NES game as well. Has the sideways scrolling levels and the overtop vertical levels as well. That's pretty good game. Original Mario Brothers, classic, what can you say? Mario Bros 2, also a classic. Mario Bros 3, pretty much considered the best game on the NES. Very good game indeed. It's worth buying this just to play the 3 Mario games. Techno Bowl, never really played it. I'm not really into sports games, but it is loved by the Americans, so must be good. The original Zelda, I do plan to go for that one day, so maybe this is the machine to go through it on. It's supposed to be a classic. Zelda 2, Adventures of Link, another classic basically. Balloon Fight, old game, but surprisingly good fun. Especially in 2-player, it's a bit like Joust. I think it's Nintendo's rip-off of Joust, to be honest. Like, but it is actually pretty good fun. There's a normal mode where you battle each other and you sort of kill enemies, but then there's another mode where there's a survival mode, and that's really good fun. That is. Bobble, like you've just seen, is a pretty nice conversion of the Bobble arcade machine, really. Castlevania, absolute classic. Never finished the first Castlevania, which is a shame to say because I am a massive Castlevania fan, and I've never finished the original Castlevania, so I think I need to sort that out. Simon's Quest looks very annoying, Simon's Quest, but I haven't really played it, so hard to say. Donkey Kong's a classic, isn't it? It's a classic arcade game. Donkey Kong Jr., that's actually a bit of fun as well. And then we're back to Double Dragon. So all in all, it's a really nice selection of games, and you know, for 49 quid you get in the machine, you get in a joypad, and you get in 30 games, and you can't fault that. That's, you know, it's a damn good price for what it is, and I do think it's just well worth the money. So what we'll do next is then we'll go through some of these games on here, because I will show the game on the actual NES Mini, and then we'll show it running through the FrameMeister. So let's do, which one should we go through first? Let's go through Mega Man 2 first. But then this is the NES Mini versions of Mega Man 2. So we'll do normal difficulty. So it's a pretty solid game, this is. Good up. Let's do Quick Man. This level's quite tricky. Hello guys, right. This is Mega Man 2 running on the an RGB version of the NES, well the Famicom, and this is running from my FrameMeister. This is running exactly the same resolution as the NES Mini, so 720p. So let's start this up. We'll go to Quick stage. I'll just let you guys listen to the music for 5. Right guys, so that's Mega Man. Right guys, here we are. This is Mario 3 running on my RGB modded Famicom, running through my FrameMeister. Exactly the same resolution in the NES Mini. I've made sure I've turned the, because well on the RGB mod you can have different colour palettes. I've made sure I've turned the colour palette back to the original NES colour palette, so there's no colour enhancements, so you can see the difference. Right, so we'll start the game up. You can have a look through, play through the first level, you can have a look at the detail on the map here as well, and then listen to the sound, so I'll be quiet now. Right in. So now you've had a good look at that, and a good look at the detail on the map screen, we'll swap back to the NES Mini version of this game. Right, yeah, this is Mario 3 running on the NES Mini. Well, I suck. Alright guys, this is Star Tropics. This is on the Famicom again, run at 720p through an RGB Famicom on my FrameMeister. So we'll start this. Talk to a few people so you can see the dialogue boxes. Right, so that's Star Tropics. Give you an idea what it looks like. So we'll swap back to the NES Mini version of it now. Right, that's Star Tropics on the NES Mini. Right, again guys, this is the Framemeister again, original Famicom, run at 720p. So we'll start it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause on the helicopter sprite at the beginning. So have a good look at the helicopter sprite. Say in these videos, you know, see if you can have an idea how they scrolls as well. So this is quite smooth. Right, now we'll swap back to the NES Mini. Right, this is Contra Super C on the NES Mini. We'll do the same as the last video. We'll stop it on the helicopter so you can get a rough idea that a difference, if you can see a difference of course in recording. Let's play for this for a little bit. Right, that's Super C. Right, and guys, my final thoughts of the NES Mini. Well, to be honest, I don't really need one because I own 3 Famicoms and loads of games anyway. But I bought it because it is a really cool piece of kit. For somebody who loved these games as a kid and doesn't have the consoles now, it's the perfect Christmas present. There's 30 games on there. There's a decent selection of games on there for your money. The machine is really cool looking, so it just looks like a little tiny mini version of the NES. It's got very nice menus. I do like the video options. The picture is lovely and clean. It's pretty much just as good as my RGB modded Famicom and my Framemeister. But I do think the Framemeister is a tad better, but I'm literally talking it's minimal. It's really minimal considering how much it would cost you to get it that way. Yeah, really cool piece of kit. A few little, so if I was going to complain, I would complain about the joypad length is just ridiculous. It's just these days, it's just, you know, alright, it might have been fun when you were a kid and you had a little portable 14-inch TV and you were sat in front of it, but these days, you know, with people in living rooms with 60-inch TVs and stuff, and you're not going to sit right in front of your telly and play this looking at a 60-inch screen. So the joypad length is silly, but I said you could either try and track down an extension, or probably the cheapest and easy way of doing it, just buy yourself a long HDMI cable and a long micro USB cable off eBay. Probably cost you about £6, and that'll do the job. You could probably put it anywhere you want in the room in. Say the lack of an actual charger in the box as well is a little bit of a disappointment, but if you've got USB ports handy, or you can buy one of those USB plugs as well, that will do the same. So you be aware that it doesn't actually have a power supply in the box, but it does have a USB cable. It will literally power off anything that chucks out 5-volt USB. Yeah, but as an overall device, you know, it's tiny, it's got a lot of nostalgia value, it's got a really nice joypad apart from the length of it. It's a really cool piece of kit, and, you know, 30 games for £50 in nice HDMI output, looking better than they ever did on the NES. Can't fault it at all, highly recommended by me. It's just if you can get yourself one for Christmas, and like I say, any retro gamer out there, I think this is a really cool Christmas present from. So my thumbs up anyway for the NES Mini. I'm going to play some of the games on you. It's a fun little thing, and hope you enjoyed the review, guys. So get yourself an NES Mini if you haven't got one. I think you'd be quite surprised and quite happy with your purchase. And, you know, to finish all the games on you, there's quite a few months of entertainment here for £50, so you can't fault it, which is the price of a PS4 game, so, or an Xbox One game. So you can't fault it. Highly recommended. So I'll catch you in the next review, guys. Oh, and one other thing, as I mentioned before, lag in the controls, I don't think there is any. I can't notice any anyway, and usually I will notice lag in controls, and it just feels just the same as my NES. So I think Nintendo's done a very good job at it. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the review, and I'll catch you next time. Bye now.